So this is where we left off the last time. What we want to do here is create a subclass for each of these view controllers quickly. So I'm going to hit Command N, make sure it's a subclass, or that it's a Cocoa Touch class. And we want it to be a subclass of UI view controller. This one we're going to call Pan. Create next, just click create. Just going to drag these up here. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing for tap. Okay, so one other thing is in the implementation file, I would just like to delete everything from the .m file. So let's just start with a blank file. So one other preliminary thing here is that we have to just assign these the identity of these classes. So if we go to the identity inspector, select the view controller in question, go to the identity inspector, and this is going to be Pan view controller, and this one here is going to be Tap view controller. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add a pan gesture to the first scene, and this one I'm going to do in Interface Builder. So let's make sure that the scene is selected, and let's go down to this object panel here, and the first thing that we want is a UI view. Okay, so just drag that out. We want this view to be 100 by 100. And let's make the color something other than white. We'll make it red. Okay, so the other thing we want to do here is look for a UIPanGestureRecognizer, and let's select this from the panel, make sure we drop it on the red view. Okay, so we can expand the document outline. We can see it there in the document outline, and actually when we select it, we see that it is also showing this icon right here. So let's open the assistant editor, make sure that we're in panViewController.m, and let's control drag from the gesture into the implementation, and we'll call it red view panned, and this is an action. Okay, make sure it is a UIPanGestureRecognizer parameter that's coming in. Click OK. Alright, so this is the action that fires every time a pan gesture is detected here, and this is a continuous gesture, so not like a discrete gesture. So the data is going to keep coming in. So what I want to do is, as the finger pans, I want to move this red view. So what we're going to do is get the if we get the sender parameter, and this has a method on it called location in view, and this is actually a method on the superclass, the gesture recognizer, UI gesture recognizer class. So location in view, here we want self.view. Okay, and this is going to give us a CG point. So we'll call it location in view. Okay, and all we need to do is get a reference to the red view and set its center to this location in the view. So we'll get the reference to the sender dot view is the red view. So, and we'll get its center location, and we can set that to location in view, which is also a CG point. Okay, so we'll just run this. Okay, so you can see that we're now able to move this red block around by dragging it. Okay, so we're back, and I want to show you how to do this using the translation in view. So this is a simple way. There is the UIPanGestureRecognizer. If we look at the documentation here, I'm in Dash again. We have this translation in view property. Actually, it's a method, and it returns a CG point. And basically, what this does is it tracks the amount of distance that you've traveled from the moment that the gesture was first detected. So once the pan is first detected, so through that parameter we have access to this method translation in view. And we're going to pass it self.view, and that will tell us how much the finger has moved since the gesture was detected. So what we can do is we can use that value, which is a CG point, and we can add it to the current center of the view. And then what we need to do is we need to set the translation back to 0 so that each time we're called, we're only going to add that incremental amount to the center. So let's do that. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to comment this out, and then I'm going to get the translation in view. So sender translation in view self.view. And this is a method, so this is going to get us a CG point, and we'll call it translation in view. Okay, so what we want is we want to add this to the center of the red square. So let's get a reference to that. That's going to be a CG point. Let's call it old center equals sender dot view dot center. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to add the translation is going to be a point that is the offset from when the gesture was first detected to the new point where the finger is located in self.view. So let's do old center. Let's do a CG point make. Okay, and we're going to do old center dot x plus translation in view dot x. Okay, and we're going to do it for the y, old center dot y plus translation in view dot y. Okay, so that is going to give us the new center value, CG point. Now the thing is this method is constantly going to call us, and the translation in view is going to be the distance accumulated distance. So what we need to do is we need to set the translation back to 0 so that each time we're called, we only want the distance that has changed from the last time we moved the center point. So we'll do that. So sender set translation in view. So we're going to do a CG point 0. That will set it to 0, self.view. Okay, so that will make sure it gets set back to 0. And we better set our sender dot view dot center equals new center. Okay, so we can run that. Okay, so we get the very same result, but this is using translation in view. And also the pan gesture has a velocity value that comes in. So You can also use the velocity value will give you an X and a Y velocity. So that might also be handy. So let's stop there